Right there. You see it? Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm a little bit tardy. I was getting the word out about the stream, and we are here and we are live. Oh, maybe you can't hear me. Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm tardy. I was getting the word out about the stream. Can you hear me? Hopefully, if you're there, you can hear me. But we are here. We are live. Hopefully, we'll get some people in here to join. Come on in and take a look. I'll wait for some people to come on in. This probably be a very interesting video to watch back. I've been live for 47 seconds, and it is fun. Can you hear me? Hopefully everybody can hear me. The chat is open, so come on and chat with me as well if you want. I am here. I'm just making sure that everybody can see me. Hey, Courtney, nice to see you. Thanks. All right, cool. I'm glad that somebody can hear me. Welcome. Thanks for coming by and joining me. That's awesome. Hey, Andy, nice to see you, brother. All right, we're getting some people in here now. That's good. I'm glad to see it. This is a fun adventure here. It's pretty interesting. It was pretty easy to set up too, so that's cool. We'll see how this goes. But YouTube has streamlined this process pretty well, in my opinion. So we're 2 minutes in, and I've said nothing. The greatest video ever. But yeah, I'm just wait. I'm gonna wait for some people. Sorry if this is dull and boring at the moment, but I hope everybody enjoyed the panel that we produced on Friday, and we also released a coffee break in between everything we were doing this weekend. So go back on our channel once you're done here and go check that out and give Jim Jackson some love. He did a great job on this on our coffee break episode. It was a really nice episode, and he was fantastic. So it's very short too. It's only about 10 minutes long. So go check that out. This Week in Indies is up as well on our Facebook page. Go and check that out if you haven't. We are featuring. We talk about the Smash Words posted, and I posted it in This Week in Indies. It was from the group over at High and Outside at Baseball Noir. It's a really interesting film, a very dark film, very, very cool, and it's just one of those films that captures a spirit and kind of never lets it go. It's really interesting. Great performances, Phil Donnellan, Jason Richter, who you might recognize. Well, you might not recognize because he's grown, but he was the young man in Free Willy. Which is very, very interesting. He's a grown man. Hi, Anita. Nice to see you. And he's in it. And then it's the last performance of Jeffrey Lewis in the movie as well. Also, Ernie Hudson from Ghostbuster fame is in it for a brief period of time. And it's a wonderful, wonderful movie. And it was a great conversation. And I have an interesting piece to add to that conversation this week. That is a treat for all of you. An interesting moment. Phil, who is in the movie, actually, Phil is the lead in the movie, who you see a lot of in this interview. He actually trained down in Florida, did a live camp, and actually was a minor league baseball player for a day. He talks about that in the interview. But he trained in a camp that was had Roger Clemens and his son in it. And there's an interesting story he tells about Roger Clemens and something that happened between him and Roger while playing baseball in this camp. And I had to cut it for time purposes. The interview, there's just so much great stuff in this interview, and I wanted to, make it about what the movie was and get more about the movie. So I had to cut this little anecdote, but to honor the opening day of Major League Baseball's 2018 season, which is Thursday for those of you who aren't baseball fans, I will be posting that interview, that segment of the interview, that story that he tells about Roger Clemens all over social media. I'm not sure if I'll post it to YouTube or Facebook, probably Facebook, but we'll see. I'll figure that out, and that'll happen on Thursday. So definitely check it out. It's a really cool story, very interesting, and it's one of those great fables, and one of those things he can tell his grandkids, and they can tell their kids. It's a very, very cool thing that happened to him. So check that out on Thursday, and I will also maybe sprinkle some previews of the flagship show, which comes out on next Friday. It's our 25th show, so it's a supersized show. It's a rather large show. It has a bunch of segments and interviews in it, and so I hope you all check that out next Friday. That will have it'll have some heavy hitters in it. Mark Coker being one of them. You'll finally get to see a good portion of the interview I had with him on that episode, and I think I can, if I get some time, I will sprinkle some little extras that I cut from the interview throughout the week, and so to tantalize your taste buds a little bit, I guess. But so we'll do that as well. But that being said, that'll drop Friday. There will not be a This Week in Indies next week. I will do a live chat, however, and we'll go more into depth about what I'm going to talk about in a little bit. What's happening the weekend after the flagship show drops. So, which a lot of you know already what that is, but for those of you that don't, I will explain it here in a second. But anyway, that's what's happening. So if you missed our live panel discussion show, go check that out. It was on Marketing Outside the Box. It was a really good show, and we timestamped it. So every question that I asked, or when I was not there for the 10 minutes I wasn't there, that one question that Josh asked is timestamped in the description box. So you can go right to that question. So if you did watch it or you watched it live and you wanted to remember something or thought somebody said something that was interesting, you can go and click on that question and it'll play that moment for you. It'll go right to that part of the show. I am currently working on. I have somebody I know working on time stamping all of the live panel discussion shows. That's a big announcement I wanted to make tonight. So hi Amanda, nice to see you. So that is, so we're working on time stamping every one of the live panel shows we've done from the very beginning, from day one, and we'll timestamp them first via question. So whatever a question is asked, we'll add a stamp to that, and you'll be able to go back all the way back to the end of from the beginning of the first ever live panel discussion show we ever had. You'll be able to go through the entire shows, all the shows, and find certain questions. Maybe there's something that you forgot or something that you never saw that you want to go back and take a look at. And on top of that, all of the links that are mentioned in every show will also be added to every episode as well. So I added the links from the last live panel discussion. Those are also in the description. So there's a couple of things that Josh mentions and Stina mentions, and in some places you guys can go for some little extra help or something interesting to take a look at. And those links are now in the description box, so you can check those out and take it's I see your question, Andy. So that we can do that. So IFTTT is if not this, that, I believe is what it is, and it's a connector of social media. What's hot, like what is, I think what it does is it leads you to Instagram if Instagram's the thing that's going on right now, and connects your social media to what's trending. It seems pretty interesting. I just looked at it briefly. If Josh was here, he could tell you more about it, because Josh is the one who mentioned it. But that's what it seems to be. It seems to be a connecting service that connects all the social media. So if you do a post that's really hot or trending, it can transfer that over to Instagram at a moment when it might trend at Instagram. So that's the, yeah. See, that's what Amanda's talking about. So that's seemingly what it is. It's pretty interesting. I just got started with it, and I'll play with it a little bit more, and be happy to tell you guys all about that. When I do. Yeah. So this Courtney says that there's all kinds of tasks it can do. It can turn your Wi-Fi on and off. It can connect your posts across networks. All kinds of good stuff. Yeah. So that's what that is. So it's a really good source. It sounds like really interesting. So go check those out. But like I said, those links are now available. So, and all the links ever mentioned in any live panel will be in that live panel description box in the near future. This is going to be something that's probably going to take us a while, so bear with us, but we will get that done. I promise you, before the year is over. Well, hopefully before the summer is over. And going forward, they will be added and timestamp. Every live panel will be timestamped, and all the links will be added the night after the airing. I will do that and make sure that, or I'll make sure that's done by the person I have doing that for me. So that's a nice new feature we're adding to that. We're also doing that eventually for all the Brain to Books coverage. So the 2016 and 2017 coverage that you see on our YouTube channel, I know it is a daunting and a rabbit hole and a black hole to go down, and because there's 8 hours in some of those videos, because we just went and streamed for the 8 hours that YouTube allows you to stream for, and there's some dead air in there. There's some times when it's just two people, and if you go and in a little while, we'll be able to timestamp. We'll timestamp every major event. I know some people are looking for the Batman v Iron Man argument, or the Squatty Potty novelette that we all created that one night. We also did. We had some great discussions about marketing in one of the later shows in the very first year of Brain to Books. It was 2016, one of the later shows. And I'm going to tag my friend Ani in the appearances that she makes as well, so you can check out all of her wisdom and all the things that she talks about, who I miss dearly. And we'll tag all of those and have those all set up for you, so you can go directly to certain spots and you don't have to weed through 8.5 hours of me, essentially. So that's what we've got lined up that we're working on behind the scenes. So that's happening. And so I have a couple. The Joe Compton blooper reel. Yeah. Courtney asked me, when do we get the Joe Compton blooper reel? Yeah, that'll be probably very bottom of my list. I'm sure if somebody wanted to weed through every damn video I've ever done, because there are tons of them on there. there's one where never mind. I'm not even going to set it up because I don't want to tease you guys with that and then have to deliver. But there is plenty of me not being fluid, and and there's some funny moments. There's some funny moments in Brain the Books too. I could probably put together a blooper reel from Brains the Books all that time. I mean, I was live. Literally, I've counted it the other day. I was live the last 2 years for 131 hours. So um, there's 130. There's 147 hours of footage. I was not obviously. Karina is a big part of that, and we'll talk about that in a moment again. That's part of what I want to talk about that's happening in the future. But yeah, so we have all of that. Yeah, that's a good one too, Amanda. Amanda cited a moment when I mentioned that if you're just tuning in, Amanda's not wearing pants and Shane's pizza was delivered in a timely manner. That was actually not that was not Brain the Books though. That was our Writers Hop. That was the first ever Writers Hop, I believe. I don't believe that was Brain the Books. It might have been. I might be wrong on that. But I believe that was part of our first Writers Hop, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, first Joe's Bar. Yeah. So yeah, so that was Brain the Books then. All right. Cool. But yeah, so uh, we we have that going on, and I am happy to announce that I got the word today. This is not so. I mentioned on Facebook the other day that I have a major opportunity, or I've solicited a major event to try and become a part of the press corps for. This is not the announcement I'm about to make. Is not part of that. That's not the one where I asked you all to cross your fingers and uh, send out good vibes for me. That still is pending. But this is a really nice announcement all on its own, and a really great opportunity for me, and I'm real excited about. But I was officially given the nod that I am a press member of the When Words Collide book festival and writers conference in Calgary, which takes place in August. I will be there covering that event for Go Indie Now and all of you, and I will be going live at times. I will be sitting down with as many authors as I could possibly gather, and as many people as I could possibly gather in the industry, and doing interviews just like I've done with all the film festivals. I'll be doing the same thing at the writers' conferences and the book festivals. I'll take some footage of some of the panels that are going on during this time, and I will be there for the full 3 days to absorb it and enjoy it and to have a good time as well. I know a lot of people that are going to be there, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll get to meet a bunch of my writer friends that I've never met, and I'll be real excited about that. That should be awesome, and that's always a great opportunity, and I'm real excited to do that. And I'll knock a bunch of people off my to meet list at that event. So I will be there August. I believe it's August 9th, 10th, and 11th. It might be 10th, 12th, 11th, and 12th. But I will be there for that event. And then, which is funny because the week after is the Diamond in the Rough Film Festival. That weekend is also something that I will be a part of. I was a part of the last year's one. In fact, that was the first festival I've ever covered for Go Indie Now. And they've invited me back to be a part of that as well at a new venue, a bigger venue, and hopefully we'll get to see some really interesting stuff. The film festival last year was amazing, and some of the work done there, some of the best I've ever seen. So I'm real excited to be a part of that as well. So back-to-back weekends, I'll be doing festival coverages, and you'll see all of that in future Go Indie Now shows after the fact. So, and then during the, but they should they shouldn't. No, that's not. But anyway, that is see you see on the blooper reel me being stupid, which is so much fun, right? I mean, so great. Anyway, but that is that is the big announcement that I have for that. So the schedule is as follows for Go Indie Now stuff. Friday, this coming Friday, the 30th, will be the flagship show, the 25th flagship show, a big show. We have some new segments. We have some in-depth interviews. We have some heavy hitters, and that's going to be a big, big show. It's a double the size, so uh, it'll be something that will probably take a couple looks to absorb, which is fine. It's the grand debate with me always. Do I break these down in segments, or do I just do the show the way I've always done it? And I've elected to stay with the show I've always done because you all have been so graciously watching it and watching it the way it is done. So I really appreciate that. And I'm going to stick with what works. Why fix it if it isn't broken? So uh, if it takes a couple views, 3 views, 4 views, that's fine. I mean, I know they don't count the first until, after the first time you look at it, it doesn't count to go back on YouTube anymore. But that's fine. I don't worry about that. I don't care about that. All I care about is putting out a show that you all are enjoying and engaging in and really liking. So that's all I care about. And so if it takes you months or days or weeks to watch it, please take the time. Um, there's some incredible artists that we're going to be talking to in this episode, along with, of course, Mark Coker, who is an incredible artist of his own. If you don't know, Mark Coker is actually an author. I don't know if anybody knew that, but that's how Smashwords started. He actually talks about that in the interview. I'm sure you all have seen interviews with him before and know a little bit about Mark Coker. If you don't, there's plenty of them out there. But this one's a little different. I hope it's a little different. I hope I get I give you guys some things that you didn't know before with the interview. So, but that's part of it. Joshua Robertson is also part of the 25th episode, and that is an amazing interview. Josh is very candid and has given me a tremendous amount over the years that I've known him, but also within this interview. I learned a couple things about Josh in this interview, and I know him. I know him well. I wouldn't say I know him really well, but I know him well enough. I know a lot about him from the conversations that we've had over the years. So it's a really great interview as well. So definitely check that out. And there's so much more. There's CineQuest interviews, and then I have a musician who I interviewed who is doing some amazing work for the troops, American troops. So definitely check her interview out as well. She's really great. Her name is AJ Duke. If you don't know her, go check her out. But anyway, that's part of the 25th episode. And like I said, I'll sprinkle some teasers here and there. I have some prepared this time around, so I'm going to try and do that a lot more. I'm going to try and give you guys some tastes of what is happening in our world here and Go Indie Now, and what you can expect, and what hopefully it'll tantalize you to watch the rest of the show. I'm going to try really hard to do that. That was a goal of mine that I set for myself last year, starting with this year, is to make give these shows a little bit more teeth, and give you guys a little bit of extra content that is a part of that. And so that's happening on Friday, the flagship show. Hi, JD, nice to see you. So that we have that, and then Sunday there will not be This Week in Indies, and then the Saturday after the flagship show on March 31st will be the season finale of season 3 of Coffee Break. And with this season finale, I think it's a really cool one that we did. Angela P. Chrysler, who runs Brain to Books Cyber Convention, gathered a handful of authors who wanted to be interviewed and sent them to me. Suckers. No. Anyway, they answered my 5 questions on camera, and so I put a little montage together of them all answering every question. So the Brain to Book Cyber Convention gets a little preview of some of the people you'll meet over the weekend who will be part of the live event that I'm hosting. And those guys are some of their answers is amazing. It's just really cool. But that'll be our season finale. So it's a little bigger coffee break show than what is normal. It's about double the size, so it's about 20 minutes, 25 minutes long. I'm still editing it though, so I might get it down a little bit more. But that's what our season finale will drop on Saturday the 31st. So check that out as well. We have that, and then the flagship show on Friday, and then Sunday night I'll be back with another Sunday chat, and I'll do it from here. This is really cool. I'm really enjoying this. I hope you guys are too. Is this a pretty comfy venue for everybody? Everybody seems to think they like this format. I might go. I'll switch back between this and Facebook, and I'm going to do one on Instagram this year as well, maybe 2 or 3. And JD. JD says, and Joe, I still have the biggest coffee break. Well, you were certainly the biggest person I've interviewed for a coffee break, but no. But anyway, so yeah, so we got that going on, and there will be no This Week in Indies. I'm trying to give my guys a break a little bit along the way too. Courtney and JB do so much for me in this show, and I can't thank them enough for what they do. And so it's always nice to have a week off in between. And I think it's a good weekend to have off, because then you guys can absorb the flagship show and you're not overwhelmed by content by me. So I do too, Andy. I do both. I like my coffee. I like my beer. So I'm with you. And if I get down to Florida, we'll do a beer break. How about that? We'll sit down at the bar and do a beer break. And then maybe the next morning we'll get up. We'll do a coffee break. How about that? We'll do like a beer break in the evening and then a coffee break in the morning. But we should make that happen, because that sounds pretty cool. Oh, nice, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, an Irish coffee break, right, JD? Andy said he's meeting Cindy Schneider for a drink on Tuesday. That's pretty awesome. Cindy is fantastic. So anyway, that's what's happening in my world. And then the following weekend is the big weekend, and I'll talk more about that next chat, so that I'm not totally drowning you in Go Indianapolis. But we have our 3rd annual coverage of Brain to Books, 72 hours. I go live from the moment that the gates open at the Goodreads area for Brain to Books, and Brain to Books gets started on Friday. That Friday, I open it up with Angela, and we go until she says it's over. And by Sunday night, I'm pretty much over before everybody else is, because I've just done it all at that point. But I'm pacing myself this year a little bit better. So, and thanks in part to Karina Cantus, who is helping me again this year. She's going to do her Karina's Corner in the wee hours of the morning. So all of you who are international or insomniacs who are up late, really early in the morning, and you're on the East Coast and you get up early, she will be there when I am not. And then you can hang out with her. But we will be live from the moment it opens to the moment it closes. And that's what I've done the last 2 years. And this will be the 3rd year I've done it. I'm really honored to be the person that does that. I am really just grateful to Angela for all that she's done for me. And she's a big reason why Going now exists. So this is a real special weekend for me always. And it's going to be tough, because it's the first time without my friend who was there for me in the first one. And so I'm going to miss her this time around, but she'll be with us in spirit, no doubt. it's going to be a lot of fun. We're gonna do a lot more. I've got some things lined up, some things that we've tried on the Writers Hop show too. I'm going to try. Um, I'll keep it as lively as I possibly can. At least on Friday, I'll be very lively, and then by Sunday, you all may have to carry me again. But we'll figure that out. I will try again to pace myself, but we'll talk more about that as the time goes on. I want to know from you guys if what you think about Smashwords getting into the audiobook market. If you didn't see This Week in Indies or the announcement that's been plastered everywhere on social media, they do an amazing job of just getting the word out. I can't go anywhere without seeing this article, and that's partially because I probably clicked on it and now it's everywhere. But because of our favorite thing, the algorithms, right? But Smashwords and Findaway Voices have reached an agreement, and they are partnering, just like Findaway Voices is partnered with Drafted Digital. And it's a very similar idea. Smashwords has a little bit more control over the royalties than Drafted Digital does. Drafted Digital's contract with Findaway, they had to sign a certain exclusivity away and a certain percentage away. Mark, who is very savvy, knows his business model, and he was very insistent that they keep at least the Smashwords business model going through Findaway Voices if they were going to partner, and Findaway Voices agreed to it. So the royalty share is the same as if it was an ebook. It's the same idea. You can name your price. You can give coupon codes for audiobooks. The caveat, though, is that what ACX offers with the producers working off royalties instead of being paid hourly wage up front, or I think it's half up front and then half when they're complete, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't done that paid option before. I only have one audiobook, and it was a royalty deal. But the ACX model for that is not available in Findaway, and Findaway doesn't do that. So the caveat being that you have to have the money to actually produce these audiobooks through Smashwords or Drafted Digital, which is cumbersome and kind of daunting, and in my opinion, kind of sucks. But I knew going into when I published my first book that I needed a certain amount of money to make it work. I needed to buy a cover. I needed to get some editing done, although the editing I got done really let me down. But I knew that I was going to have to spend some money to make my book happen. So I saved. It only took me 10 months to save the amount I needed, but I also knew that I was going to walk into it not making a profit. So I knew that I was basically throwing this money away. And with the audiobook process, because it is so demanding, it's a process. It's an art form. It really is. And it's an amazing art form. But it is very technical. And if you don't allow that technical aspect to happen, you're going to wind up with something that sounds like you recorded it in your mom's basement under a pillow. And it is really something. It's a tough thing for authors just to give up the creative control that they have to give up for this as well. That was the thing I struggled with a lot. My wife will tell you I had an amazing battle with my audio producer, and I had to finally just let it all go. And it was tough. It was very tough, especially for somebody who's had so much creative control over his product in the past. So that was a tough deal to do. And so, yeah, and Andy says it's a lot of contract negotiations with actors. Yes, there's a lot of that too. You have to find the right one. You have to find the guy that's going to fit you, because if you can't change it once it's done, you can't afford to get a second one. If the first one stinks, you can't do anything about it. It's there. I mean, you could take it down, but then you just spent all this money for what? Nothing. That's the thing about it, right? You have to know that you're going to have to do this process right, and because of that fact, you're going to have to find a business model that works for you. You're going to have to find a marketing strategy that works, because just something to throw away on a book cover and there's some editing services. There's something for that. And it is about, I'd say it's about 25-30% of what you actually would spend on an audiobook. Yes, it's that much. They're actors. They get paid an hourly wage, and the hourly wage is pretty steep. But and Anita says she's getting one done as well and lucked out with her narrator. That's good. That's good. That's what makes the royalty deal kind of sweet, because then if it screws up, if it doesn't turn out, then hey, you can't get rid of it, but you can kind of not promote it. You can kind of let it die on a vine, and that sucks. That really is a terrible thing to do, because these guys work their ass off to do this. But if it's not right, it's not right. And that's a terrible way to look at it, though. I do not recommend that. You got to put all of what you're doing into it, just like anything else. It is a business. You want to be professional, and you got to do what you got to do to make it work and make some money and do it. Because if you're going to spend all that money, you got to have a return. So keep that in mind. And I like giving the artist feedback is the best way to avoid that. That's where I got into trouble, though, Courtney. I gave a little too much feedback. I probably was not a pleasant person to talk to. In regards of feedback on my novel and having him read it, but nonetheless, when I let go of the process, that turned out to be the best thing I ever did, because then I entrusted in him. He won me over, and he was able to really put it forward and do an amazing job. He probably wouldn't be somebody I hire again. Maybe I would. I don't know if it's the project is right. He has the right voice. He is an interesting voice. So yeah, it does. It's very interesting. So I think one thing I would highly recommend is that you look at your business the way that you would look at it if you're trying to make a profit, and really push that agenda forward with the audiobook idea. Now, I think it's cool the idea that you can name your own, because audiobooks are just ridiculously expensive. It's so that you can recoup the money that you spent. I mean, spending the money you spend is crazy, but they have been hijacked by Amazon pricing forever. And so if Findaway Voices, who has been looking at the royalty option, and they've been talked to. Mark has told me personally that he's been in conversations where they had been talking about it. So if they put that together, I think that's a game changer, because then the name your own price, the coupon, all of that comes into play. And right now, only the top 1% of Smashwords can vehemently, that's the wrong word. What am I looking for? Can put together an audiobook that only the top 1% and afford it, essentially, unless their publisher has funds for that. Yeah, viably, maybe. I don't know. What the hell do I know about vocabulary? I'm a writer, right? But yeah, so it's interesting, and I feel like that would be the game changer if Findaway Voices put that out there. It may oversaturate the marketplace, and maybe that's part of Findaway Voices' thought processes right now. They know they're going to get the people who are going to pay for it. But actually, what I've been told and what I've heard is that it's a legality issue for Findaway Voices. I could be completely wrong on that. That's what I've heard through the grapevine, that that there's certain things that they have to promise producers if they're going to go that route, and they don't have the legal backing to do that. So all that being said, this is an interesting turn I think Drafted Digital uh, has seen a little bit of moderate success from expanding this direction, but uh, I certainly think that this was aimed toward the top 1% from the beginning, and Mark knew that, and so I think it was something that his audience was demanding of him because they like the model. They like the idea that you're going to get 85% of your royalties. I mean, who doesn't like that idea, right? If you're somebody who sells books and really sells books, and you're not a Smashwords making the 85%, you know, that just makes sense, right? I mean, you can sell if you can sell those. If you can sell your books, you should look at that because that's something that is very, very attractive, right? So that's what I think anyway. I mean, I don't know what the everybody out there thinks about that. I know Smashwords has some issues. I've had some issues with Smashwords, um, and some of those I actually addressed with Mark in this interview. So I hope you guys check that out. But that's basically, you know, it's just basic stuff that they. I think the way they market is terrible, but I think that overall, again, if you're somebody who makes money and you're not and you want to make more money, 85% sounds pretty good. Um, and the cool thing is they're allowing AC. I don't know how long ACX will allow this, but they are allowing if you have a produced book, if you have a produced audiobook outside of the ACX model, or I mean, they're even allowing ACX and Amazon Books, but obviously, if Amazon or ACX gets wind of that, you'll be taken down from their site. And I don't believe they give you the rights to your book back if that's the case. I think they delete it. I don't know. I've never heard of anybody being kicked off of ACX, and maybe they don't. Maybe they don't follow it too 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 much, but because it's a big site and there's thousands of people who are doing it, right? But um, Smashwords will allow Smashwords and Findaway Voices do allow a pre-produced audiobook to be uploaded as part of the program. So if you do have an audiobook that you own complete control over and have the rights to and everything, then you have the files. You can upload them without going through a producer. So that is an option on Smashwords. So maybe that's something to check out if you're one of those people that has that. So anyway, I think I've talked long enough. I'm almost an hour. Time flies when you're having fun. But so yeah, I'm real excited. When Words Collide, I'll be there in August officially, and then the next weekend, Diamond in the Rough Film Festival. I hope that the next time you see me, I can make another big announcement. I don't know. This may be something that drags on for a couple weeks or a month or 2 months. I don't know. But the event's not until June, so they can probably drag me along and ignore me for as long as they want. Maybe until they think I'll go away, but little do they know me. But I mean, I'll be smart about it. I'm not going to pester them. But anyway, so hopefully I'll have that announcement for you guys and tell you all about what that event is. Some of you will be excited about it. I know you will be. Some of you. Some of you may not even care because it's not. I will say this: it's not author related, but it is an event, a big event nonetheless. Anyway, so that's what we got going on. Friday flagship show, Saturday season finale coffee break. Sunday I'll be back again with live chat. No This Week in Indies, and then the following weekend, Braid the Books. 72 hours of me and me and me. Uh, I know, sickening, right? Terrible thought. And then we'll have more going on as the month goes along and things happening. Also, that weekend, there will be a This Week in Indies during Brain to Books, and there will also be an Indie Insight, a new episode of that. But like I said, I'll talk about that next weekend. All right, 45 minutes. I've crossed the threshold of your attention span. Well, you guys probably can sit here and talk to me all night, huh? but which I would love. But we'll do that in a couple weeks. I hope you all come in and sit in with me during Branded Books. Yes, you will have to be seen, but actually there is a chat in that as well. So if you guys just want to sit in the chat, you guys can sit in the chat. Wow, if one of you sits in the chat for 8 hours, I'll be super impressed with you. I really will. But anyway, that's what's going on with me. That's no. Well, I mean, maybe we'll do a gong show, and you could play the guy that used to wear the hat, used to wear the bag over his face, the unknown comic. I'm dating myself really bad now. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I just showed my age. But anyway, so there you go, everybody. And definitely go check out This Week in Indies if you haven't checked it out. And the live panel, like I said, we timestamped it so we can go in between questions. And there's a lot of great information there. The panel was phenomenal panel. I got so super lucky with the people that came aboard. And we're going to do another marketing one in the very near future. I'll keep that in a rotation. We'll probably do that once a quarter because we barely touched it, and I was so off my game. I apologize. I was terrible in that panel. But that won't happen again, and we will right that wrong. All right, everybody. Well, as you know, it's always time to go indie now, and I'll see you again soon. All right, we'll see you again next weekend.